What's up, guys? It's MB Boxing, and I just finished up watching Josh Taylor versus Jack Catterall, and this was a 12-rounder for the undisputed WBC, WBA, WBO, and IBF Super Lightweight World Championship. And this fight was Saturday, February 26th, from the SSE Hydro in Glasgow, Scotland, and this fight was broadcasted on ESPN Plus. And in this fight, Josh Taylor and Jack Catterall went to war, with Josh Taylor ultimately getting the split decision victory. I personally scored this bout 113 to 112 in favor of Jack Catterall. The three judges scored this bout 113 112 for Catterall, 113 112 for Taylor, and 114 111 for Josh Taylor. So, this fight was really, really fun to watch. There was some controversy in it. There was a knockdown. This was just a very, very eventful and very good undisputed title clash. So, first of all, in the first round, in the first 30 seconds, Josh Taylor got hit with a perfectly placed left hand right in the chin that buckled him and sort of backed him up. And that was a very good shot that really won Jack Catterall that round. But it was that left hand all night that was really working for Jack Catterall. And the main thing is the earlier rounds in the fight. The first four rounds were really the most debated rounds, and that really decided this fight. So I personally, after four rounds, had it 39-37 for Catterall, but the unofficial scorecards, which was Andre Ward's scorecard from the broadcast I was watching, he had it 39-37 Taylor. It was that type of fight. It was really that close early on. So it really could have went either way because there was really two close rounds early on that really determined the winner of this fight, as I mentioned before. But then in the middle rounds, Jack Catterall was fighting amazing. And that's really rounds 5 and round 6. He was really hurting, backing up Taylor, just outboxing him, landing the left hand over the top, and just making him look like an amateur, and just really boxing beautifully. And I'm just going to say this. Props to Jack Catterall. He really proved me wrong. And he came into this fight as a 13-1 underdog. And his performance sort of reminded me of George Kambosos', but obviously he did not get the nod in the split decision. But he put up a noble effort and really fought his heart out and fought a tremendous fight. So yeah, in the 8th round, Josh Taylor, I believe this was the first time he's ever been knocked down. He was hit with a left hand right over the top, then an uppercut miss from Catterall, then another left hand over the top sent Taylor down on his knees. It was more of a flash knockdown, but still two perfectly placed overhand lefts, sort of to the temple area and forehead area of Josh Taylor, setting him down. And at that point, Josh Taylor already had two swollen eyes. He was cut on one eye, whilst Catterall was a bit bruised up in the face. This was just a very good war. And comment down below how you scored this fight. And now I'm going to be getting into sort of the controversy of this fight. So in the 10th round, a random point deduction was deducted from Jack Catterall. I'm going to be 100% honest. When I was watching the fight, I sort of looked away for a couple seconds and sort of missed what the referee deducted Catterall like a point for. I think it might have been holding. I'm not 100% sure because Catterall was holding a lot, but so I didn't really see exactly what the referee deducted the point for, but from what I heard from the commentary and whatnot, that it was pretty egregious and that it should have been warranted like a warning or just not a point deduction or anything at all, just the referee breaking him up and just letting him continue fighting. But I'm just going to say the referee was horrible today. He was breaking up a lot of the action early on, and I forgot to mention this. The referee was just not that good. He was taking timeouts in between the rounds to talk to the fighters. He was just taking way too much time and trying to make this sort of like he was the main show as opposed to the fighters. It was just ridiculous. And the 11th round was even more egregious than the 10th round. At the end of the 11th round, I've never seen this before in all the fights that I've seen. Josh Taylor sort of hit Jack Catterall in the stomach, but it wasn't even a real shot. It was at the end of the round when they're both walking back to their corners, but it was sort of a jab to the stomach, like, hey, good job, good fight. And then sort of Catterall went back and tried to sort of tap Taylor on the head as if to say good fight as well, it looked like. But it was sort of just a light jab to the stomach just to say good fight, whatever. That's what I got from it. I didn't get that he was trying to hurt Catterall or anything. And then the referee deducted a point from Taylor, which is just ridiculous. That was the most ridiculous point deduction I've ever seen in all the fights I've watched. But then, the scorecards were very close. They were crazy looking. Since when have you guys seen a 113-112 scorecard in a undisputed title fight? This fight was just so close. And with that being said, what is next? for Josh Taylor. I mean, he talked about in an interview before this fight, this could be his last fight at 140. He could have another one, who knows. But some names that he could fight next, I mean, he could possibly fight Teofimo Lopez, who recently moved up to 140. But, I mean, Lopez just lost to Cambosa, so it's, like, really ridiculous. But, yeah, Taylor could also fight Regis Prograis in a rematch. I would like to see that fight. That'd be very interesting. Or I would also love to see Josh Taylor fight Jose Zepeda, who's recently coming off a destructive first-round knockout win in a WBC silver title fight over Josue Vargas. But as for Jack Catterall, losing here for the first time in his career by putting up a valiant effort and dropping the undisputed champion Josh Taylor and just making it really close in what I thought he should have won. But it was still a fight that really could have went either way, in my opinion. It could have been 112 either way, and that was really, I think, how it should have been. I think this fight was that close. It should have been either like 7-5 Taylor or 6-6, maybe even 7-5 Catterall, but really 6-6 or 7-5, like 112 either way, somewhere around there. It was really that type of fight, just really close, really competitive, and a really good war. But for Jack Catterall, I would love to see him fight someone in the top 10 in the super lightweight division. If Jose Pedraza wasn't busy fighting Jose Carlos Ramirez soon, I would have loved to see Catterall face off against Pedraza, but I mean, I honestly really don't know what's next for him aside from possibly fighting a guy who's in the top 15 or top 10 in the super lightweight division, because he proved here that he is a top tier guy that should not be sort of looked over in a sense, because he was the huge underdog. Many people, myself included, thought he would lose this fight easily, but he pulled off an excellent performance but did not get the victory, even though, I mean, he definitely could have. It was that type of fight, and I actually had him winning, as I mentioned before. So overall, Josh Taylor gets a very close, razor-thin split decision victory over Jack Catterall to hand him his first ever loss and to successfully defend all 4 of his undisputed titles for the first time. And yeah, that's really it. I'm MB Boxing. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.